ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on this week's episode, we'll be talking about the movie Reign of Fire. But of course, before we get to any of that, I am joined today by Van Zan Nathaniel Gingrich.
All right.
What's Van Dam? Who's Van Dam?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, I couldn't get Van Dam out of my head. And the fact that he kept saying Van Zan really was throwing me off the whole time.
Denton Van Zan.
What a great name.
Yeah.
What a great name. Between that and Chev Chelios, I mean, man, I really was born
2024.
15 years too late, you know.
It's the year.
They don't name characters like they used to, man.
I'm Chev Chelios.
I'm Chev Chelios. God. As bad as that movie is.
Yeah, see, you're thinking about it. Just wait.
As bad as that movie is, great character name.
Can't wait for 5 years from now until you're going to be like, you meet some kid and he's going to be, 20 and you'd be like, yeah, but you haven't seen Crank. You're going to do a full 180.
I think about that often where there are just going to be, because you guys do it to me all the time. You haven't seen this, you haven't seen that. And I don't like doing that to other people, but just because I sympathize with like how many, there's too many movies to watch them all.
Yeah, for sure. No one's seen them all.
But like I'm like approaching the point where like pretty soon it's gonna be like, oh, like you've never seen High School Musical, like you've never the movies I grew up with, or
for sure.
You've never seen The Dark Knight, like
what's Meet the Robinsons or something. That's one that's like that would have been like your era that like is just gone nowadays.
Yeah,
or like any of those Disney movies from that era. I feel like prior to Tangled, they're all gone.
Yeah, man.
Johnny Tsunami.
Quickly approaching that. But my girlfriend's her little brother's 13.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get some of that. I've already introduced him to a couple things.
So that means he's 2011, which was officially the year I graduated high school. So I had a car.
I remember 2011.
I had a somewhat functioning brain at that point.
Yeah.
It's weird watching. I was going buck wild.
Yeah, Tyler didn't have a functioning brain anymore.
I was fucking wilding out. Really quick, you guys were talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he's actually a skin in Mortal Kombat off the Johnny Cage character.
Of course.
And he's even got the voice acting.
That's amazing.
That makes sense.
I think Van Damme is one of the ones that's like, he's a little bit more self-aware than like Steven Seagal or one of those guys is. Like, he's kind of like reckoned with that, like his like status as like an 80s movie like thing. He's like, yeah, man, I was out there doing karate kicks, railing lines of coke. Seems like he's kind of figured things out now.
For sure.
Lundgren's the other one. He's like a bioengineer or something. He's got like a
guy's insane.
Yeah, he's a genius. But yeah, really weird to catch up on your 80s action heroes, see what they're up to today.
Facts.
They're all old.
It's true. Getting there.
I saw a video of Arnold the other day, and I was like, "Oh my god, that guy's barely walking."
Well, I mean, he's all of a lifetime of performance-enhancing drugs and pushing his body to the max. They're starting to come home.
It'll catch up.
It'll
to you
get
all
you
that
eventually.
All that Nesquik, it'll catch up to you.
And the thing is, once you age twice as fast.
Yeah. The Nesquik reference will be relevant.
Once you nest quick, you can never nest slow.
Once you start the quick, man.
That's a good one. Also joining us today, of course, is No Fly Ty, Tyler Berdellis.
This is a no-fly zone.
No fly zone. I've been having to deal with that. I got drone certified recently. I've got my remote pilot certification. So if you guys need a drone for hire, that is I.
Whoa.
But I have been dealing with a lot of no-fly zones because there's a lot of airports in the Chicagoland area.
Near a lot of airports.
Yeah. And my company's building a new hockey rink next to the Allstate Arena, but it's also right next to O'Hare Airport.
Definitely
so no-fly zone. Absolutely no-fly zone.
It not even like under 100 feet or something? You can't even
go. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to go there tomorrow, and I might bring my drone to see what it tells me. But DJI is pretty locked down with this thing, and it's
really?
it's nice in certain situations, but like your drone has GPS on it.
Sure.
Pretty much all of them do, unless it's like a little toy drone. And this one, like, it'll just tell you what airspace you're in, knowing your GPS coordinates,
Sure.
and it'll set a max flight altitude for you. But like when you are in a no-fly zone, it just won't even let you take off. Like
I'll never forget
ground you basically.
Tyler's bachelor party. We were all hanging out in the lake, and we just heard these people. We heard the drone, and then we heard everyone go, "Oh!" And we looked over, and it just had clearly gone underwater. And everyone else back at the thing, they all hopped in the boats or hopped on surfboards and tried to go out to it. And we were just
doesn't
like,
matter. That thing's toast.
Nah, fam, it's gone.
Not even.
Yeah.
Not only are you probably not going to recover it, it's not even worth trying.
Yeah.
That thing is not waterproof at all. At all.
Yeah, and it's not a like shallow lake.
No. Yeah, that was clear immediately. The way that everyone reacted to that kind
Was
of
it
thing.
like a toy drone or was it like a nice DJI one?
Like it cost some money. The way those people hopped up and got to it. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if I don't know what the warranty looks like on those things, because I know DJI is pretty generous when it comes to their drone warranties for the most part, just because they, can get knocked out of the air and
Sure.
some permanent damage can happen. So, I know they're relatively generous, but like you have to recover it. You have to like prove how the damage happens. Yeah. So, so it may have been worth recovering just to see if DJI would replace it, or maybe they had a protection plan on it, or something. Who knows? In that case, I understand, but if that wasn't the case, then there's no point. Lots of drones in the news these days, though, gentlemen.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. I also have not been paying attention to it because I've reached the point where I'm just like, you know what?
I just don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, unless it's happening within a 10-mile radius of me. More power to you.
That is the most effective way to go about like news and social media.
Dude,
for sure.
How crazy!
Otherwise,
is that?
like you'll just go mentally insane.
Like
It's
I kind of feel like a
understand
bad
years ago.
person not doing it a little bit, but
I think you're good. I think you're a better person.
Yeah, it's just like fuck, man. Otherwise,
You have to.
recently-
Otherwise, you
I
see
ju-
something scary every day.
Yeah,
Every 3
man.
hours, you're just like, holy
Yeah.
fuck, that looks horrible.
Right. Yeah, I just installed Blue Sky.
I've been hearing,
the alternative to X, just because I'm going on X and it's like, Twitter. I don't even want to call it X. I don't know why I did that. I go on Twitter.
I saw someone call it X-sitter or shitter the other day, and I thought that was pretty good.
That's good. I like that. But like the For You page is just so toxic. Like the things that they pop up for me, I'm just like, this is just
I won't go
horrendous.
there.
It's terrible.
I'm-
But like the follow tab, maybe I'm just too, maybe I need to calm my brain down. But like the follow tab, I just go back to Twitter so often that I clear that thing pretty quick. So
you
it's
need
like, I don't know.
you still need the blue. You need the
Do you have the
holes.
old version still?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Where every time I open it, it goes, "This app is out of date." But I just kill that.
Just go around it.
and just go right back to it.
Awesome. That's awesome. I
I'm
miss the old Twitter, man.
I'm fully convinced I'm the one keeping it alive. Like as soon as I do update it, it's just gonna break the whole system.
I mean, I'm sure that your phone's worth some money now, Nathaniel. It's
It
like
could
those
be, had
those
Flappy
phones
Bird
that had Flappy Bird that were going for like 10K.
Yeah.
Dude, I still have that on my iPad that I got in like 2013. And it's somewhere stashed in my parents' house. I don't know where it is, but like I may try to find that for Christmas and see if I can plug it in and play it.
You should.
Yeah, you
Hopefully,
have it on one
what do
of
you think
my
I can
phones.
sell that for right now? I'm sorry, Ty. What'd you say?
I don't know.
You should
I
figure.
just said I have it on one of my phones.
Yeah.
you
What do you
fig-
think we can rip those things for, fellas?
I think you should figure out how to stream it, and then that way you'd be like, I'm the only Flappy
That's
Bird
the real
streamer
capitalistic
out there.
game, right? Yeah. Fuck selling it, just stream it.
Yeah.
I'm looking on eBay for phones with Flappy Bird on them. I'm seeing upwards of $1,000 for some of these.
What?
That's awesome.
No way. That just means
I'm
they
seeing
can
one for
they could be on there for that, but you don't. they're not
Yeah,
gonna
this
for sure.
one-
That means someone's
that.
purchasing it.
Yeah, you got to look at last sold.
this one is listed at $7,000, and it says rare collectible refurbished iPhone 4S with Flappy Bird, Vine, Instagram, and Twitter Plus.
That's awesome.
Twitter and it says I think just Twitter and Plus.
That's
It's like
crazy.
Twitter
Flappy
and
Bird, Vine, And what else was in there?
It's just a phone
Flappy
locked
Bird,
in
Vine,
09.
original Instagram, and Twitter. Not
Adam, are you old enough to know what Vine is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Okay.
know what
Vine would have been
Vine
like
is, yeah.
key for you
That's
guys.
that's
Yeah.
like actually pretty core to my generation, actually, because because Instagram came out in middle school.
I guess that makes sense.
and
Vine's got to be what, 20?
It's around the same time as Instagram. 2012, 2013,
2010, 2011, 12, 13, 14.
I was
yeah.
never.
It's like late high school for me.
I
and
did
early
Vine
college.
for a bit, but I eventually just kind of stopped watching Vine. But I know people that like loved Vine until they shut it down. And that was just not me. But like I was on it for a bit.
Oh, there's some gems on Vine. Like some of my all-time favorite internet videos happen to be Vines.
And wasn't the story on that like Twitter just bought it and then killed it? Like it was just wild, basically.
Yeah.
Like they had a whole platform that like you think about it nowadays, like that could have been the American rival to TikTok. Like it had
100%.
its built-in audience already. Like
absolutely,
they just needed to play that right and to.
And I'm sure if someone somehow bought that IP back, well, would Elon Musk own that then?
Probably, I guess. But like again, remember the thing with the thing about TikTok was that the algorithm was what separated it. Like,
oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why Reels isn't still the preferred platform. Although more and more people are seemingly moving to Reels from like my circles. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, we're not a social media podcast. We're a movie podcast.
Yes, we are. We got one more person introduced, of course. That's Big Burned BlakeHolder.
Hey, what up? What up?
Any burn scars? Anybody?
Ooh.
Any like bad burns or anything?
I have one on my arm. I don't think you can see it anymore. I kicked a grill and I brushed my arm on the top of it, and that got me once.
What age is this?
Oh, I was like 20.
30?
Sure.
Yeah. And working the fryer at work a couple times. I've got some fryer burns for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was last week.
I was like, Adam's 30 joke actually went over my head, and then it hit me about 5 seconds later. Yeah. So
that was
good.
For my birthday.
How'd the burn heal up though? How long did that take? Those can be treacherous.
The one on my arm, it was probably 3 weeks to a month because I was working at the time too, so I had to like cover it up every morning, and it just took a little while to heal. But it's 3rd-degree burns where they burn out the nerves. That's where you are getting into real issues at that point.
Gotcha.
I have burns on my arms.
Tyler went to firefighter school. He's got all that shit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I figured.
No, my burns are actually from stupid ass friends.
Well, I just mean you've seen way more and know way more about it than we do.
For sure.
Where's your burn at, Ty?
I got them on my arms. They're like on my biceps.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was never part of the pyromaniac phase in like adolescence.
Neither were we. I don't know what it was. It was just like there was like this thing going around where like if you like kept the flame on your Zippo like lit up and then it like heated up the metal and you put it on, then it would look like a smiley face.
The smileys.
Yeah, some people call them smileys.
Damn, yeah, that's an annoying part of high school.
Yeah, some people were doing them and I was like, yeah, no, that sounds dumb. And then I was passed out at my buddy's house one night and they were all, still up. So I got smileyed on, out of my will. Not of my own volition. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's
man,
why those are
that definitely feels like some arch millennial culture. This is the fucking smileys, yeah.
Unwanted burnings.
Yeah. I was seeing a clip earlier today. Do you guys know who Caleb Huron is? Adam probably does.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's he's an internet personality, but he was talking about he's gay, and he was talking about how Jackass was like secretly the best for him because it just meant that all of the people at his school like just started doing ball sack bits because of Jackass. And he was like, as a gay guy, it was great.
Yeah, for sure. That's peak.
He's like, because straight dudes think that's neutral territory. For us, like, we're interested.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's funny. But of course, we're not a
we're not talking
ball
that
sack podcast.
either. No,
I mean,
Pause.
yeah. Technically speaking, no. Theoretically, we are 4 men.
I was gonna say.
I was
Unless
going to say, yeah, we do have.
Right?
they start dividing podcasts by that ball sack podcast and not. That's just another organization
Oh
on
my
like
God.
iTunes.
I regret saying anything. But we review movies. And this is our main review segment for the movie Reign of Fire. Before we go any further, actually, I should give a quick happy birthday shout out to one Nathaniel Gingrich.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
This,
thank
of
you.
course, is his birthday pick. And celebrate his birthday. What was that, Friday?
That was Friday. Yeah, Friday the 13th. I got to have a lucky
Wow.
birthday for me. It
You-
was nice. Yeah, had lunch with my roommate, had a night out and dinner with my lady, and that was good. And yeah, cannot complain, guys. It was a great day. It's great to be 32.
Never better time.
I like 32. It's divisible by 4, 8. You know,
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Very good number.
it's got a nice roundness to it. You add it up, it's 5. You know, that's a good one.
True.
You lost me there. Where were we at?
3
Add
plus
it- add
3
up
plus
and-
2 is 5.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying just round up to the nearest.
Well, no, I'm just saying if you added the
Is that what we're
digits 3 and 2.
Oh,
You would
okay.
get 5.
I got you. Yeah, I've got you. Okay, for sure.
But anyway,
Anyway, I picked Reign of Fire, a
Reign
movie
of Fire.
from 2002, 2001,
2002.
2002.
Before we get any further, though, Nathaniel, can you give our listeners a rundown of how this review segment of Reign of Fire will work?
Well, folks, if you're
Fixing
new or
me here.
perhaps you've forgotten, the way the review segment works here on Back Row Banter is it is split into 2 sections. It's got the non-spoiler section, then there's a spoiler section. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the movie itself, who wrote it, who directed it, who's in it, all that good stuff on the IMDb page. Go around the squadron, decide if we would recommend this movie. It's got to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. And then after that, it'll be spoiler time. If there's any big spoilers for you for a 22-year-old movie, then we'll go into them deeper at that point, and then get into our deeper thoughts on the movie itself, and then we'll rank it up on our Entropy list. So if you don't have anything spoiled for you, go ahead and skip that part, come back and see where we rank it, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast ranked. With that being said, Adam Schwartz, tell me about Reign of Fire.
I would love to. This is not a new movie, as we said before, released in 2002, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes and an IMDb rating of 6.2 out of 10. It is directed by Rob Bowman, who, Nathaniel, you were saying before, directed some Star Trek Next Generation. Was that what it was?
I believe so, yeah. I think he kind of got his start. He's a pretty prolific TV director, I would want to say.
Directed the original 21 Jump Street, at least an episode of one of the TV show, I should say.
Sure.
And I've seen that on his IMDb here.
Yeah, I want to say late 80s, 90s, he was kind of breaking into the industry, and then this was one
Yeah,
of his big
decent
movies.
amount of TV directing in here, from
Yeah.
what I'm looking at. Some
That
notable.
was absolutely a valid way to do your job
series.
back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it is. 34 episodes of the X-Files.
Yeah, big X-Files director. I mean, I was a huge X-Files fan. I don't know if
For
we've ever
sure.
talked about that on pod, but
For
like,
sure.
Not enough.
oh man, yeah, you want to talk about some formative time in my life. X-Files was where it was at. I can imagine Blake watching that. Did you watch that with your dad?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say like it was something we'd regularly watch. It is one of my dad's favorite shows, so I would kind of sit there and catch it every once in a while.
one-
And then I want to say by the time I started to quote unquote deep dive TV shows, which you guys know I don't watch a ton of those.
Sure.
I want to say X-Files was the second show I watched, and this is like my sophomore year of college.
Did you ever watch?
Right? I was good.
You saw the episode with the like hillbillies that are
I
at
would.
home. It's the famous.
I'm sure I did. I
Yeah.
always think of there's one isn't there one that's like in like I don't know if it's in Alaska or the Arctic.
Oh yeah, that's in the first season. Where it's
Okay,
like
that's the one that
it's-
always stands out to
It's
me.
almost like The Thing, basically, but it's
Yes.
like
Yes.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely a good one. Man, we could deep dive on that. I definitely went on a huge X-Files kick in high school as well too. There's some banger episodes in there as well too.
For sure.
But yeah, Rob Bowman.
Written by Greg Chabot, one of the two, and Kevin Paterka. And it's got that's the story credit. Screenplay goes to Greg Chabot, Kevin Paterka, and Matt Greenberg. Why does that name sound familiar? Do I know Matt Greenberg?
Not a name I know, but it's possible.
He wrote, it doesn't look like anything I recognize actually, so I take it back. The cast includes one Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey. I'll let that pause for a second. But then we also have Gerard Butler.
Yeah, that's right.
Who you were probably not expecting me to name
Jerry
as the
the
third
Beef.
main cast member here.
My man.
And then Isabella Scorupco.
I believe so, yeah.
Scorupco, one of the two. Do I leave it there? There's not a ton of other names.
The only other person I've
here.
recognized is Alexander Siddig, who plays a kind of a minor character in this, but like he's in like a bunch of stuff, and I think he ended up as like Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, I do recognize this guy.
In like one of the like Batman spinoffs or something. Like
he's in Gotham, yeah.
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul.
But yeah, he's just one of those British actors that you just see in a bunch of stuff every now and then. Know him by his face, but not necessarily by his name.
Oh, he's in 5 episodes of Game of Thrones.
See?
He's Doran Martell.
There you go.
Makes sense. Cool. The IMDb summary for the film reads as follows. A brood of fire-breathing dragons emerges from the earth and begins setting everyone ablaze, establishing dominance over the planet.
Not the best summary.
No, not at all. That makes it sound like we're watching like
how it
dragons
happens.
take over.
Yeah.
We're watching like the Cloverfield of this apocalypse. Not it. That's
This
not
is very
it.
much the Mad Max of the dragon
This is
apocalypse.
very much correct. Very much the Mad Max of the dragon apocalypse. Yeah, I mean, you got Christian Bale, kind of
early Bale. This is like post American Psycho, pre Batman Begins. This is my first like memory of Christian Bale, I would say, as like as a actions or as a star, as a movie performer. And Matthew McConaughey, if I'm honest. Like this is about as early as you go back in my memory for those guys.
Yeah, I mean, you're coming online at that point, right?
Pretty much. It's like I had seen Jurassic Park and Toy Story, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, you got Christian Bale, who's, Mad Max Dragon Apocalypse is maybe the best way to go about it. If you can imagine that.
It's not a bad descriptor. Yeah.
Not a terrible kind of, you can kind of get the idea of that, but I would say more this is 2002, so consider it's Mad Max closer to the aesthetic and directing style of like the original ones, obviously maybe not.
No, it's definitely not Fury Road.
Ones. Yeah. And it definitely feels like 2002 and all that, it's as I was saying, kind of pre-pod. It's definitely it's a movie of its time, and you kind of see this, it's the last movie of its like the 90s action kind of like or fantasy movie kind of thing with just the way the set pieces are done, the costume design, just how the film looks in terms of color grading, as Nathaniel somewhat joked, but like honestly said about how this film is well lit and like there's lighting choices and you can see characters and like you said, Nathaniel, there's night scenes
and shadows and depth.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely
the League of Shadows.
Definitely feels like kind of like one of those transition movies that you have between the 90s and
if this was made today, it'd be
2000s.
made for $15 million
God.
and it'd be on Netflix and it would look like ass.
And it would be made on one of those LED walls that Mandalorian
100%.
filmed
Yeah,
on.
Everything would be filmed on a 10x10 box with an LED screen behind them, and there'd be no depth of field, and it would go to Netflix, and it would be a thing for a week, and then no one would ever talk about it again.
Do you think these 3 actors are where they are without this movie?
I don't know, man. Like genuinely, like you look at Christian Bale in this, and then you look at him in Batman Begins, and like I think there's something to be said that like they could have seen this movie and go from there. McConaughey's the wild card. Like he's so
psychopath.
He's almost unrecognizable in this movie. Just in terms of both aesthetic and the way he acts.
Yeah,
like, I've never seen him play that kind of character, and he's great. He's so good.
Like it's so crazy to me, like that. My first like idea of McConaughey is a bald lunatic. And like, a bald
That's an
cigar,
amazing baseline.
like chomping lunatic. And then like when people were like, "Oh yeah, like McConaughey, you know, he's just the rom-com guy," I was like, "No, he's not." He's
right.
Din Van Zandt.
Fight dragons.
Yeah.
That dude slays dragons.
Yeah, it's all about magic hour, bro.
That was the first time I've ever seen a tricep of a man and felt something.
Now I will say that like out of all of them though, I think like Gerard Butler in the best friend role is the one where you're just like, oh no, this dude's got juice, and like he was the one that in my mind like stuck out for me as a kid, that I was just like, no, this guy's gonna go on and do some more stuff as well too. He's not just gonna be best friend role for forever kind of thing.
When he's on screen, you kind of almost mistake him as the lead actor.
He's great. I think he and Christian Bale got a good like chemistry going on. He's so good as like the second in command kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
how early? This is also early Gerard Butler too, right? I mean,
it's one of my earliest.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But we're kind of go ahead.
I was gonna say this is the first watch for me. I don't know about Blake. Is this your first watch for you as well?
I'm gonna say yes, but once I started watching it, I was like, I've definitely seen clips of this.
Okay.
Whether it's through pop culture, whether it's through me turning on Stars at 10 p.m. in 2006, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There were certain scenes I was like, okay, I kind of remember this, but yeah, effectively, I would go ahead and say it was the first watch. So yeah, and an interesting one to go back in time, because this is what 02.
Yeah.
I want to say, and you can tell, but it's one hilarious. This film takes place in 2020.
Right.
Right. And that's the first funny thing, and then a few other things obviously to go with it. So I mean, yeah, it's one I would recommend to those who just it's a really good you had to be there movie. That being said, with it taking place in modern times, almost makes it a little more palatable. Like I feel like more often than not, this movie would be made in like, I don't even know the years, but during like the Roman Empire. There's some shit like that, right? Opposed to it being made like in modern, let alone the future of when the film actually released, right?
I got you. So you're saying like a dragon story would be like, you're used to like the sword and sandals epic, where
yeah,
like
for sure.
It's like, yeah, there's dragons and it's the modern day. What the fuck are we gonna do now?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, like it wasn't a zombie apocalypse. It wasn't nuclear warfare.
It was dragons.
Yeah, right. And let alone, and they fast forward that 18 years from release. So yeah, man, it was a hell of a ride. It's cool. It's one I can see myself going back to for sure.
Well, as I said pre-pod, I now own this movie because $4 to rent, $5 to buy. You're damn right. I'll buy that digital license.
Yep, the math adds up.
Yes, it does.
The math be mathin'.
The math be mathin'. This is not one I like recognize at all. So I did not have a similar experience.
I was
to you. Like,
so excited for you, like, because this genuinely, like, I think the week before I like text the boys and I was like, do we think Adam's ever even heard of this movie? Like, is this on his radar at all? Because it definitely feels like one that does like just slips in there, like, and you just never knew about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, continue.
It's definitely like a similar to like The Rock, where like it was one like that people I have been like talking about in terms of like famous actors or famous movies from these or actors for movies from these famous actors like early on or just kind of ones that just fall to the wayside a little bit. Yeah, so I don't recognize any of this movie, but top to bottom, like didn't really remember it from clips or anything like that, or have any kind of like
I love it.
Maybe I've had this on. So yeah, this is a brand new watch for me. And I definitely don't necessarily love this movie. I do think it's fun. And I do think if I How old were you when you watched this, Nathaniel?
I was in 5th grade, so I would have
That
been
would
10.
have. This would be my favorite movie to this day if I watched it in 5th grade. So like and of course I can watch that with that in mind, like thinking of like why you picked this for your birthday pick and like where that maybe soft spot comes in.
For sure.
Because in 2002, if I'm anywhere from the ages of 8 to 14, 15, yeah, this is probably one of my favorite movies and like going to be a core one for me and one that I would absolutely like rewatch multiple times. So yeah, but I definitely had a good time with this one. Definitely enjoyed it. It's interesting watching such a young relatively young Matthew McConaughey.
It's really weird how like
it's
good
bizarre.
everyone is. Like
Yeah, and they're all very good acting.
That this movie
yeah.
happened to like be made in 2002 with just like 2 of the guys that would go on to like kind of define 2010s like acting, I would say, in a lot of ways.
And it's weird watching McConaughey here because I just went back-to-back weekends going to Interstellar IMAX. Like I saw it twice because my parents wanted to go and see it, so I went with them again. So like that like just having that in my mind too, or
where
like
his
character in Interstellar to this is just like wild to watch him like.
It's weird to see where he's changed, but it's also weird to see where he hasn't. Like I think we might get into more in spoilers, but like later on when he like has like a fight with someone and he's like kind of making these weird sounds and you're like, oh no,
like the
that's
grunting
that's the McConaughey. That's him. Like, I do recognize some of that stuff. But yeah, it's also like it's 2 just top tier actors talking about fucking dragons like they're real. And you're just like, yes, this is the best shit ever.
I know. And McConaughey's got that big war axe with him.
So my favorite thing about McConaughey is he's outfitted like he is like someone who's playing D&D for the first time. They're like, I need a battle axe. I need a sawed-off shotgun that I wear at my hip. I'm like, we're lucky he's not dual-wielding pistols at certain points throughout this movie as well, too.
Yeah.
Like he's just chomping on a cigar half the time. Yeah, great character beats.
Absolutely. Papa Schwartz, not a huge fan.
Hey, that's
disappointing, but understandable.
I am a little disappointed, but yeah, I get it. It's not everybody's bag.
Not everybody's cup of tea.
I think it's probably been 15 years since I've seen this in its entirety.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's well, maybe not 15, but like probably 10.
That's probably like
probably 10.
Probably like 3, 4.
Well, it's one that like I don't think it ever really made it to streaming kind of thing, and like it feels like one that would like go on Netflix and be like top 3 streamed on Netflix for like for a month or something like that, or it's a secret one on Tubi that only the real homies know about.
True.
Yeah, that was arguably one of the most surprising things on this is like watching this the other day, and then I was like, man, like I'm surprised this isn't a forever on Tubi movie.
You would think it'd be a perfect streaming movie, right? Like
because this thing is like isn't streaming anywhere. All jokes aside,
it's tough to find. Yeah, like genuinely. Maybe it's just a weird. Well, it's Touchstone, so that's technically Disney.
I was going to say it's got to be a weird licensing issue, right?
But and this is the other thing that I come to with this kind of feels like very much one of those British movies that like it might be more popular over there, that like we just never got as more popular kind of thing, because it's like not set in London. It's got like a lot of like kind of character actors from over there other than Matthew McConaughey. I don't think there's another American in it. Like the Isabella Scorupco is French.
Yeah, I was gonna say he, other than maybe background people, he's definitely the only American on
right.
here.
So I think I do wonder if that's part of it as well too. Maybe it's on the BBC or something like that. But yeah, I think I don't know. It's like both Adam's and Blake's point. Like there is so many parts of this where I'm like, yeah, it's like it's a solid B movie from the mid-thousands. However,
that's a good way to say it.
However, because we don't get this shit anymore, like it is just firing all of the nostalgia parts of my brain, as well as like the practical, like just solid filmmaking parts of it too. That just I'm like, we just don't get this.
I love it.
It's not what you get anymore, man.
I agree, because like, say what you want about the story, the plot or like the world, all that stuff. It's a well-made movie.
It's a high concept, in and out, in just under 2 hours. Like, here's the world. Here's how it rolls. Like
the set, bro. The set.
The set's gorgeous.
It has
a
top tier, bro.
It has a full-on soundtrack, like with drums and trumpets and like shit. And like, it's not just needle drops of whatever band was popular 15 years before the movie came out, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's a real movie. Like, all right. Also, before we get into spoilers as well, the Bully Men. Got to talk about the Bully Men hopping out of the helicopter. Pretty freaking cool.
The Archangels.
Yeah. 17 seconds.
That's spoiler talk, though.
All right, fair enough. I'll wait.
Oh, wait.
17 seconds.
17 seconds. But they are cool. I will give you that. Sounds like a recommend all around, though, I think.
I'm a recommend, yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah, I didn't really say anything other than I love it.
Go
made it
ahead,
past. Ty. No, you're good. I was just saying, obviously I'm a recommend. I was 12 when this came out, so this is like peak Dragon Age for know a kid, and so easily my first introduction to like all three of those guys. And yeah, dude, this movie has just continued to grow and again just age so well. And we've said a lot of things that surround why that is, whether it's practical effects or good filmmaking and good like actual sets and not CGI or not a ton of. Dude, this thing still looks dope. So I am definitely a recommend. And this would have easily been on like my list at some point if Nathaniel hadn't done it. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome, boys. Welcome or recommend all around.
Do you need me to play a spoiler noise?
No, not quite yet. We're gonna go ahead and head into spoilers. So if you've not seen Reign of Fire and do not want it spoiled for you, go ahead, check the episode description. We left a timestamp you can jump to where you'll be taken to the ranking of the movie up upon our entropy list. But if you've not seen the movie, we're gonna head into spoilers. Spoiler noise, Nathaniel.
Shit goes down.
Shit goes up.
Shit goes up.
It's a lot of fire.
Some would say rain.
Ring of fire.
All right, boys. So let's get into this, right?
If this movie was made today, there would 100% be like a Ring of Fire needle drop.
Or down.
Yeah.
As soon as the Americans start coming in or driving up,
or the Archangels jump out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
That actually I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at like, you know what? I might go try to find that clip online and like mash that up myself.
I love the Bullet Men. I love it as a concept. I love it as a weird thing of like, all right, we're gonna kill a dragon. All right, we're gonna hop out the top of it and like, and just the whole operation. Love it. Love everything about it. Love that it's being fucking run by Denton Van Zandt. None of it makes sense. Love that he's got a giant axe. Never makes sense either.
No reason. No reason ever.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I love that. I enjoy the kind of 3 action set pieces where you have the harvest where the people come there and they try and get there. Eventually, obviously, they get chased off by the dragon, and then the Americans show up. They hunt that particular dragon, and then you have the bit where the Americans recruit some of the Northumbria's guys. They head down to London, get messed up, come back, The dragon tracks him down there, burns up the big castle, and then you've got the main showdown down in London, right? And it's pretty, pretty tight, pretty slim on a whole lot of big ideas or thoughts at that point. It's mainly survival, and this is how we're gonna do it. But I don't know, it gets you in and it gets you out, and I feel like you at the end of it, you don't feel like you've wasted, your time at the movies kind of thing. I don't know, maybe Papa Schwartz disagrees, but
I don't, I've seen him have worse reactions to movies. He was just kind of like, nah, it was all right. And that was kind of it.
I don't know. For me, there's something about Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, baby versions. Like, it's interesting from that perspective.
I mean, I'll kind of jump in. I mean, just in terms of the aesthetic of the film, and just it's crazy looking at CGI from early 2000s, and you kind of look at some of the blotchy, spotty CGI we have in modern films, and I'm like, well, all things aside, like this thing doesn't look bad.
It's pretty good, right?
Like, no, not at all.
And they don't really try to hide the dragons where it's like nighttime 24/7 either. They pretty much just kind of, for lack of a better term, just like let their nuts hang for the conversation we're having earlier. And it's like have a dragon in broad daylight in London.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like it looks good to be fucking 22 years old.
I can remember at the time when Game of Thrones coming out, there was like a story or something that they were like, yeah, we looked at this movie from 2002 on like how dragons could actually exist, and it's called Reign of Fire, and like they had this really interesting idea where it was like two venom sacs and it would like come together and like that would create the fire, and we basically just stole that. And I was like, I was the Leo DiCaprio meme, like pointing at the TV kind of thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, I've long maintained that these have some of the coolest dragons in cinema. Basically, like I love the idea of the kind of like two venom sacs, and like at the beginning he gets squirted in the face, but it's only one of them, so like that's why his eyes are all red and stuff. And
Right.
I think it's an interesting setup that they have in terms of the world itself, as you were saying, and then you get to see some early 2000s internet technology with like the triangulation system and everything, and like the 3D maps of the world and stuff.
All I could think about was Twisters.
Sure. Yep. So Twisters definitely stole that from Reign of Fire as well too.
For sure.
But I think it's a weird little time capsule, but I do love it for what it kind of represents, I think. I'll shut up for a bit now.
Oh no, you're fine. We keep going back to it. Just the way this movie looks, and down to the set pieces. But this wouldn't get made today. Movies wouldn't look like this. Absolutely, like there's zero doubt in my mind. I mean, unless it was a director like Nolan or someone of that caliber that's like, give me a budget, like we're gonna do this how it's supposed to be done. But yeah, there's absolutely no way that this could be kind of pulled off today. And it's crazy, as to like Blake's point earlier, that like the CGI in this movie holds up so well, but it's also mixed in with a lot of great practical effects, to the point where if you compare this, I mean, I could definitely find some movies from today that probably look worse than this in terms of their CGI. And obviously that,
For sure.
that definitely comes down to budgets and
Flash.
crunch. And
Sorry, I had to say that out loud.
that's totally
That's
valid.
absolutely what it
That's a great reference. But yeah, it's awesome to watch this kind of movie and see it hold up so well. I don't know. We can't say enough, and it's only going to get worse from here, really, with AI and CGI and all that kind of thing, or all that kind of stuff. So it's got to hold on to these movies while we can.
I love the bit the Star Wars where they're reenacting Star Wars for the kids. Like those little bits of world building that they have mixed in there, I think are really good. The kind of the whole prayers bit of like, what do we do kind of thing. And then obviously Tyler earlier shouted out the set, just the whole idea of having it in that castle, and then like having the paintings of kind of the church in the background and stuff. And then you have kind of that central area where everyone is. Like, it is genuinely a really awesome set as well too, and you can see
For
that's
sure.
where the budget went as well, and then like the dead dragon model and that kind of stuff is really awesome too.
Well, I mean, hey, it pays off. Like, yeah, you build a set, you invest a lot into it, but they're on that location the whole movie.
Pretty much.
They use pretty much, it feels like, every inch
Yeah.
that they had to use.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't know what areas were unexplored in the set, but like, feels like we got a wide variety of like the areas of this castle and quarry and everything like that. And they really only leave that location for 2 sequences of the movie, the very beginning and the very end, for the
Yeah.
most part. I mean, yeah, it's really well done with what they do, and pays off tenfold. Like, really disappointing that we don't see more of this kind of thing.
I'll pivot us into the end of the movie. Now, if you were a 10-year-old at this time when this movie came out, I can't tell you how many times I reenacted Matthew McConaughey jumping off of a chimney into the waiting dragon's mouth. But anytime I was jumping off the swings, top of the slide afterwards or something, you best believe I was jumping off there, swinging my axe behind my head, screaming.
I love the axe, dude.
It's so
Like,
good.
it's so
It's so
funny
good.
because it's like
yeah.
one of those things where it's just like, one, you can see it like flopping around in a lot of scenes. Like, because you just it's not obviously real metal.
Right.
It would just be so much using that. So like, it's funny because you could see it doing that sometimes. But the other part of it too is like, it's such a cool way to like tie in like the medieval aspect
100%.
of killing a dragon and still keeping it like the most ludicrous idea. Like, this would never work. Like, no matter how big your axe is, you're not like, it's never gonna work. And so it was just always like one of the best concepts to me, to have kind of like your semi-hero character.
It's one of the darkest,
to
funniest
have.
death that just like
Dude,
in movies.
there was a point in my my life where you just get older and your humor tends to be a little bit more morbid, and
Yeah.
the things you see when you're a kid, you're like, oh, that's kind of funny. And so like, yeah, dude, like him just getting fucking mowed down, like there's literally no point in you jumping off. Like, you didn't give them any more time.
I was
You didn't accomplish anything. Like, you weren't a distraction.
It's
like,
one
it was
of the
full blown, like, you just wanted to showboat, and like
it's kind of what makes it great. Like,
oh, dude, for sure.
I think that's the first time he's actually had a chance to use the axe. He's like, I'm gonna take it. Like,
Yeah,
I've
right.
never had
it's
a
the
real
only
opportunity
time
to
in the
swing
movie.
this axe.
Yeah.
Well, I think just in my head, that in Van Damme's life, like, he's carried that with him all the way from Kansas or wherever the hell he's from.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, why you got this axe? And he had to, like, in my head, he had to use it. He had this one opportunity to jump at a dragon with it, potentially, land the blow, maybe like, wheel it to the ground, something. I would take it,
But even in that moment, like,
goes my hero.
even in that moment where he's like
I need that
standing,
edit too.
he's standing on top of there and it's very clearly green screened. Like, there's something about it that I'm just like, it looks good. Damn it,
For
it looks
sure.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, love the choice to have the tribal tattoos that go into dragons.
Oh,
That you
dude,
never
like,
see
yeah, that's
until he has the crazy fight with Christian
with
Bale.
Quinn. Yeah, dude, it's so good.
That's one of my
His
all-time favorite
character-
scenes too, where you just realize what a lunatic Van Zandt actually is.
Mhm.
And like, it's Matthew McConaughey, so you could fully believe that he's there as well too.
For
Like,
sure.
I remember watching this time and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's crying in every scene he's in.
Dude, it's like, I mean, like, my guy's like there. He's, I mean, like, you want to talk about more than 100%? Like, it's so early on in his career.
Between
and, like,
him and
he's just
Bale,
like,
I can imagine.
I'm
Like, that set must have been insane.
just
Like-
electric.
I'm sure the stories coming out of this set were some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was easily one of like the best things about this movie when I was a kid, like growing up.
Yeah, I was doing some reading as well after watching, just kind of get some lore and whatnot on the film. And I want to say Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey actually fought on set of this.
Oh, like when they did their fight scene kind of thing?
Yeah. And the headbutt was basically impromptu. Right. And it totally makes sense when you think back at it now and you kind of hear rumblings of how people always feel about Christian Bale on different sets. It's like, how did we not think these guys would totally like clash heads?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're either going to be best friends or they're going to be rivals, right? Like,
for sure. There's no in between.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like that, like they both like are trying to just be the best, and so they like hate each other. But
they're
have
both method
mad respect.
too. Yeah,
like the Larry Bird Magic Johnson rivalry. Like they respect each other, but they absolutely hate each other.
Like I hate you, but I love playing with you.
Right.
So much ego on one set.
Sam, we
God,
need the.
Could you imagine them in a movie together today?
I was gonna say we need the reuniting. I'm ready. The world is ready. 2025, make it happen.
Oh my God.
Christian Bale,
Reign
Matthew
of
McConaughey.
Fire
Bring in
again.
Gerard Butler too. Like I want them all.
He's coming fresh off of Dragons.
Yeah, true. How to Train.
Yeah.
He learned.
So he
from
knows.
This.
What does Matthew McConaughey have in his mouth throughout this movie?
A cigar.
Are you sure? Because he's like chewing on it.
Yeah, it's just how he does it.
Yeah.
All right.
You
Just
never
making sure.
You never seen
There
a
are
dude
like
that chews
old-timer guys who chew their cigars too.
Yeah, just
Well,
munch on it.
Yeah, I wasn't. Because I mean, I obviously assumed it was a cigar until I saw him like straight up almost munching on it. So I was a little thrown off. I was like, all right. My bad, Matthew.
What do you guys think of the little second in command, Jared, who's like 17? He's like, "You're the boss."
Yeah, that's honestly I was gonna bring this up. That's part of the movie that stood out the most to me. Where like, it's really not even introduced until halfway through the movie that he has got like an adopted son.
Yeah, he's.
I wish that was like set up a little bit earlier for a little bit more payoff because that was kind of just introduced like almost halfway through the movie.
If you've not seen the movie, or if you've seen the movie before, you'll notice Jared in the background, in a lot of the earlier shots and that kind of thing. And like when they go to rescue the people who have run to the harvest thing and are getting blown up, he's one of the guys that's on top, like with the fire hose. Yeah. So he's definitely back there, but like I also like on this watch, I was like, that dude's like 17.
Yeah.
But then again, if I was Christian Bale, I'd be tired. I'd be real tired. I'll be honest with you.
I would be too. I don't blame him.
Also, I killed a dragon. I killed the dragon. I don't need to talk anymore. Like I don't need to do anything else. Yeah, like.
And you found Isabella Scorupco. I wouldn't waste any more time.
He built that radio tower. He's done. Love the magic hour concept. Love the introduction of it with Matthew McConaughey's character and like his whole speech.
I was really waiting for the Rad Wimp soundtrack to kick in, but it never did.
That would probably work.
I could make that mashup too. I could make a lot of mashups from this movie. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna make some mashups. I'm gonna put them on TikTok. Everyone's gonna be like, "What movie is that from?" And then we're gonna revive Reign of Fire. We're gonna fundraise the sequel. I see the vision, gentlemen.
We're ready. It's the first movie directed by a squadron.
Jesus. Too many cooks.
Let us cook.
Facts. We could make a damn good movie.
Clearly, we've proven that we can all work together for long periods of time. So
yeah,
right. Nathaniel, so I guess kind of talk to me now in terms of like where does this movie stand in modern times? Is this like an official cult classic?
Yeah,
or is it one of those where it's like there's a few people who like it, there's still people who've never watched it?
So
right? Where does it
I definitely feel like it's definitely in that second group. Like
Okay.
I don't think it's big enough to technically be a cult classic at this point. Like, you know, if we want to start that wave, I'm behind us.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm with us. But I think it's like I'm trying to think of like a similar, like what is like another one that I could compare it to that like maybe we have on the Entropy list or something. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Yeah.
Here.
That's a good point.
I feel like it's got to have a decent amount of following.
Like,
at
again,
least,
yeah,
you know,
like
my again, like
to
it
our
could-
generation,
Not even that it's like
yeah.
yeah, and that I mean, again, you're only 2 years, so it's like, I mean, like I sent that same snap that I sent to you guys to a few other people on the list,
Sure.
and I got a response from everybody like, "Ring of Fire, baby," and like I have one of my buddies. He just sent me back. He just goes like, "Keep both eyes on the sky." So I'm
What do we
like,
do when we
"See,
sleep?"
People fucking know. I'm like, this movie fucks.
Mhm.
But yeah, dude, it's so good.
So I would probably put it at a Blade 2. Not Blade,
Okay.
but Blade 2, where like
Mhm.
you know, Blade 2, it's arguably the better movie. Like it's Guillermo, like it's our boy,
For sure.
like
I'm
good
with you. I'm with you.
directing, and so like people that know, but
Mhm.
like you know, there's still more famous ones. Like A Knight's Tale is probably more famous, which is around the same time.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like,
Mm.
but yeah, that would be probably where I put it. Blade 2,
Okay.
in terms of
Yeah.
well known.
And we don't have the second or third Blade on the
No, we
show.
got
just
number
have the
one.
first one.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you say that, man, that may be my birthday pick. I may have to throw the second Blade on there. To your point, arguably the better film.
Or
So
like,
yeah, okay.
did you ever see Equilibrium with
I don't think
Christian
so.
Bale? See, that's another one that's like
Let me
early
look it up really
Bale,
quick.
and like I would say that would be another one that would kind of be in there too.
Oh, it's from the same year, 02.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen this. Emily Watson, Taye Diggs. No. I mean, it could also be another one
Right.
of like once I started watching, it's like, okay, I've definitely seen this before.
The one I remember, that's where like you're taking a drug to like you don't have any emotions and kind of thing, and then he starts to slowly have emotions, and then maybe he's trying to like come back at people. But like like that's another one that I think of it in the same realm as, same realm as.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, maybe like almost like a Green Room, maybe, or something like, you know, not that good,
Okay.
but like what people know it as. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it, folks.
I don't know.
Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey are fighting on my screen right now, by the way.
Oh, I'm past that. We're
I'm way
fighting the
past that.
bull. Also, gotta shout out the practicality of warhead arrows that look so big that you know that just aerodynamically it's impossible for them to have any kind of range on them.
What did he say was 50 yards
He's
or
like,
50 meters?
you
something
got
like
50
that?
feet. Yeah.
I was like, dog, that ain't going 50 feet.
All right. Yeah, I do love the fight thing when Christian Bale's just screaming, "I'll kill you," and McConaughey is like, "That's what we need." Kind of thing.
Sorry, that was a random side note.
Serena Fire. It's a movie.
Welcome back, listeners. We had some technical difficulties. I don't remember what we were talking about.
It's a movie that looks like a movie and is a movie.
Yeah. Ironically, I think we were close to probably wrapping it up. Not to push
No,
the
I think we are.
conversation,
No,
but I
100%.
think we
definitely
got
are.
all the thoughts out.
Yeah. If we weren't, we should be. Either way.
Yeah, no,
So
we're good.
welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and throw Rain of Fire up upon our Entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of all the movies we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. It's essentially how we rate our movies rather than do it out of 5 stars out of 10. We throw up all the movies we review on the list and see how they compare to one another. If you want to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description where it is linked to my Letterboxd.
Not to tilt anything one way or the other, but I just opened up Letterboxd and it was at Deadpool and Wolverine at 106, and I just went, "This is fucking better than that."
That is a bit high for that movie. That movie didn't age well, but I don't know. Thinking back to that theater viewing experience, it was a good time.
Sure. Okay. I think I've got a spot. I'm gonna go
He's got a spot.
63. Between
my
Nope
goodness.
and Civil War.
Wow.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I like this more than American Psycho.
Wow.
Ooh.
I know, but this is like,
I don't know if I can agree with that one, brother.
It's an early bail. It's a favorite bail for me. Like this is my first bail. Like you guys, you gotta understand. I understand that I'm gonna be higher than everyone else. It's fine, with the exception of maybe Tyler. But there's a heaping helping of nostalgia on here, and y'all, they just don't make this shit anymore. That's also on there. Like I go below it. I look. I mean, if I was gonna like rate it on like movies, then like yeah, I'd say Boy and the Heron, maybe probably stronger. Nightcrawler, Boys in the Hood, all great movies. Barbie's kind of where I look at it, and then like Barbie to the Suicide Squad, like there's a little bit of a gap there, I would say. For
sure. Yeah.
And then you got things like Gladiator down at 77, A Knight's Tale 79, Top Gun Maverick. I know I'm voting with my heart here, and I'm putting it above some other movies that are real good. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stick. I like Nope. I liked Civil War, but after that, there's just some like I can't excuse it going any higher than that. So that's where I'll stick.
And all valid takes, right? This also is your birthday pick, as Adam talked about earlier.
It should be, right?
It's one that it's tied to the core, for sure.
Right, exactly. This is part of who I am as a movie enjoyer is because of Reign of Fire.
Yeah.
Valid placement. I can't say I'm going to be anywhere near 63. Just don't get your expectations too high. I apologize.
You're not in the 300s though, so it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not going to tank. Yeah, I'm definitely not down there. I'm looking middle of the pack here. Does anyone else have a concrete ranking? I'm still like trying to suss out exactly where I'm going.
I'm kind of bouncing around. I mean, it's weird. Everything's got to be taken with context, right? But like immediately, I am kind of looking at the No Time to Die and Black Widow, and I do think there's a massive gap between those two films.
Sure.
Where I think No Time to Die, like we did kind of shit on it for lack of a better term when it came out, but it is a Bond movie. It's the end of a saga. I would still say it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Action is good and everything, and then like Black Widow is a movie that like I will never watch that movie ever again. And I'm a Florence Pugh stan, as we all know. So that's one where I'm like, okay, there is kind of a gap there. Then I work my way up. Like there's Die Hard is way too low.
Yeah, that's definitely one.
Way too low. That's sitting at 137 right now.
Yeah, Die Hard's too low, in The Notebook, I think, is way too
low. So I think I'm kind of looking in that area. I mean, one that's similar, ironically, is probably Crank, but I think it's because Crank has the nostalgia tie-in to me.
I was gonna say the Island's the other one that kind of reminds me too. Like,
where did that one land?
That's 133.
Okay,
but like to Adam's point, I'd probably rank it above Last Duel.
Mm-hmm.
Is it better than Gladiator 2? That's a hard one. I feel like no. I mean, Adam's shaking his head no.
Oh, sorry. I meant yes. I meant yes. Like Gladiator 2 is not better.
But then I fucking Twisters is 125.
I know
it's hard to rank
Twisters,
man.
I like
it's
Twisters.
Hard.
I think this part of the list is really tough because you kind of get to a point where it's like these are all movies that we kind of all agree are pretty good to decent, but it's like our personal enjoyment is going to vary quite a bit.
Fair enough. Yeah.
When you get to that point, because it's and when you get to that like
and some movies,
7 out of 10 threshold, we're really going to vary on like our enjoyment of
some movies don't have Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, and Gerard Butler in it. Like that's tough.
I never will.
So all right, I think I know where I'm gonna land, guys, and I think I'm ultimately gonna stick it under Die Hard. So Die Hard's 137. I think I'm gonna land this at 138. So it's gonna be above Trick or Treat, below Die Hard, which is a Christmas film.
It's true.
I would say, and but yeah, that's one we've sneakily buried that thing to oblivion, guys.
Also, if you're the casting director for this movie, are you like retired now? You're just like, This is
yeah, right.
like I did my job and I did the best I possibly
Got
could.
like 4
like,
A-listers in here. 3, 4
yeah.
A-listers is ridiculous.
I had a second side note. What were we talking about? You said that we were putting it up against Under Die Hard, above Trick or Treat.
Yeah, I think that's where I want to go. Scream 6 is okay, but Die Hard's objectively a good film. The
You're 100%
creator
right.
actually isn't too bad.
That's another one
To
too
be
that was kind of
fair.
on there in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to revisit that because that was an original concept, right? Then a time where we're getting a ton of fucking requels, sequels, prequels. So I'll stick with it. I'll land it at 138. Adam?
Yeah, I'm in a loop. I'm like, I keep scrolling up and down. I'm like, yeah, I could put it there. And I scroll down, I see another movie. I'm like, well, I want to put this above Gladiator 2, but then I don't want to put it above, a bunch of movies. You guys put Crank way too high, and The Last Duel. The fact that those are so high, it kills me. Like I'm just gonna probably have to ignore those.
Does it make you realize that you're wrong?
No.
Yeah. And the one thing, like,
True.
Crank did have like 3 nostalgia bids from Ty, Nathaniel, and myself.
Yeah.
And like the nostalgia bids obviously carry a lot of weight. Nathaniel's got this thing at 60 something or whatever he said. So I mean it's
How dare you?
those carry a lot. So
How dare you?
I also another movie that sneakily is maybe too low, The Blackening.
yeah.
That
was
movie I
funny. I can see
still
myself going
think
back to
about.
that in like
Yeah,
future
yeah.
Halloweens.
Absolutely. Still very funny to me, and I think I had a good time with that. Anyway, when I look at all of that as I keep scrolling up and down, I don't know what it is, but I mentioned The Notebook, and that's one that really sticks with me. In terms of like maybe that's too low, but I see your man. This is really tough. Tyler, do you know where you're going
Yeah,
yet?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
just
you go ahead.
pass.
You sneak in there. Yeah, go ahead.
I am gonna be at 69, below The Boy and the Blue
Oh
Heron.
my god.
I do think there are some movies below this that are probably a little bit better. Like A Knight's Tale and Gladiator, and Deadpool is kind of in that same area. Kill Bill Volume 2 is 6. Suicide Squad was such a blast. Red Line is still lower, but then I do see things that I would definitely put this above, like Barbie, Nightcrawler, Boys in the Hood is tough.
Yeah.
I would probably put this above Scream for me from a nostalgia point. Iron Claw, Suzume, but yeah, dude, this movie fucking rules. And I do genuinely think that if you get this in front of more people would just probably agree with the fact that it's a good movie over a bad movie. One, because when you tell them when it was made, they're just going to be fucking floored. And two, you genuinely do have like the main reasons why we all like picked up film in the first place. Whether it's good set design, good acting, or you could go down the list on how many good things are in this movie, and I think that it definitely deserves to be pushed up a little bit because it's already this old, and you guys are still saying it's still a pretty good, okay movie. Like we're all recommends, so I think it deserves a little bit more.
Yeah, that's valid. I hear you, and I think you said 69. So I'm looking here. That place is that you said below The Boy and the Heron, above Nightcrawler,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So, yeah, I can see. Like I said, there's films all throughout this thing that are subjective to some of us, and some we have a lot of nostalgia tied to it. Other ones just personal preferences. So yeah, I hear you.
Oh, did
sure.
did anyone catch extremely young Joffrey Baratheon in this? He
No, I
is
did
like
not.
he's one of the
What?
kids. Yeah, he's like
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's one of the kids that are in the like thing, and he like comes in, I think like after the big dragon's shown up and like is there, but yeah. Young like prior to Batman Begins, like 6-year-old Joffrey Baratheon is in this.
All right, Adam. What are you thinking?
I want this ranking.
I've crunched the numbers. I've gone over the data.
I've made my computations. I think this could go a number of places for me.
Mhm.
Because I do think it definitely is, at least for me, in the range of like, your personal enjoyment is going to factor in a lot for a movie like this. I think, because its ceiling is only so high in terms of like the quality and everything that we kind of put in. So there are definitely some movies that I am going to put this above. That I would maybe on a personal entry list definitely put this below those movies. But I think when I look at the list and I go like, could I put this above this and this and this? And then looking at Crank and The Last Duel right there, I'm like, ugh, I can't put this below those. And then I go one higher. I'm like, I could put this above Conjuring 2. I mean, I could put it below, but I could definitely put this above. And I definitely want to put this above Gladiator 2. I think this is a more fun movie, and I would enjoy watching this again more than I would watching Gladiator 2. And I'm like, I could probably put this above Frozen 2 just because this is a movie I will enjoy more than I will enjoy watching Frozen. And then I hit The Strangers, and I'm like, I really like The Strangers. So 127. Long story short, will be my final ranking there. And again, I could move it up or down a little bit here and there, but I think I'm in a kind of a good in between of where my floor and ceiling are on this list for this movie. It's 127 will be my final ranking, and that gives us a cumulative ranking of 99.25, meaning it is going to get placed at 100, right below Predator and above Rebel Ridge.
I'll take it.
That's fair. Yeah, I would
Good
say even that being in the ballpark of ironically Blade, right?
Sure.
Predator. So yeah, it's
I think that's a good company with it right there. It's a creature feature, right? Like you need to have those movies. They're not quite your A-list, but they're those solid B pluses. And we need those, folks. In 2024, we need those.
Absolutely.
2025 even more.
The year of our Lord.
Absolutely.
All right. Rain of Fire. At an even 100 right there on the entropy list. That is, of course, out of 214 movies and counting. That's
the halfway point.
Yes, it does. That is going to conclude our review segment for this week. Our review segment next week will feature a movie called Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim.
Oh.
Animated Lord of the Rings movie. Full Peter Jackson involvement from what I understand, right, Ty?
Yes, sir.
You saw it already. Do you? I don't want to get too many early thoughts, but are you? Let me ask you this: are you excited for us to watch it?
Yeah, I think if you have any kind of Lord of the Rings enjoyment, you'll find some enjoyment out of this. I think there's a lot to love. I think there's been some things on the internet, but some people aren't just gonna like everything. I'm one of those people, especially when you do find one of these pocket genres where you're not getting beat over the face with the same thing over and over again, like you are in Star Wars universe right now, and what happened in the Marvel verse for quite some time, and what probably will continue in the next few months here. So yeah, it's nice to always get new Lord of the Rings content because it's not something that I get very often. So I'm very happy with it.
Awesome. And then remind me and listeners, what do I need to have seen going into this movie? Do I need to watch anything?
You do not.
Like
no.
okay.
This is kind of like a one-off little story. It's basically, if you've seen the other Lord of the Rings stuff, Lord of the Rings Two Towers, they retreat to a place called Helm's Deep. This is essentially 200 years before things with the ring start happening, or even really kind of take place, and this is how Helm's Deep basically got its name.
Got it. So when you say 200 years, this is like 200 years before the original 3 movies.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. So then roughly 100 years before The Hobbit.
Yeah.
If I'm doing my math. Okay. Got it. Well, there you have it. You're all primed and ready for War of the Rohirrim. I'm excited.
That's a theatrical release as well,
Yes,
listeners. For
it
those
is
that
in
don't know,
theaters.
it's not streaming. You're gonna have to go to
Yes.
your local mom and pop or AMC, Regal,
Hey, man.
whatever floats your boat.
AMC Barrington has been pretty busy recently when I go over there. Pretty full parking lot compared to where it was even just maybe even a year ago, 2 years ago,
Algonquin
especially.
out by me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Movie theaters are back, man. At least they are for this time of year, it seems.
We're
It's
hoping
good to
so.
hear. Yeah, definitely hoping so. All right. Well, I would say let's do what we're watching, but it's late recording time wise, and we've got quite a bit on this episode anyway. So unless anyone has anything pressing that they want to discuss,
War of Rohirrim.
or I got plenty of time for you booked next week there, Ty.
Perfect.
Yeah, I got you. Alrighty then. Let's get on out of here. Please share the podcast, share with a friend, a family member, maybe a dragon or two. You know, they're not all bad, I'm sure. I'm sure you could find a cool group of dragons that just want to listen to podcasts, you know. But yeah, you know, if you're bored out there in the dragon wasteland, just put on Back Row Banter. Put a friend on, you know, and pass the word along. While you're doing that, you can follow us on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod. Our YouTube is just Back Row Banter, and our email, if you want to send us one of those, is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. Tyler Vidalis, where can people find you at, my man?
You can find me on Instagram, Letterboxd, and Xall, Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES. Blake?
Letterboxd BlakeHolder. I'll be in there logging some things out of 5 stars. PSN, Xbox, Mr. Water Coolers. Nathaniel?
Yeah, you can always find me on @and on Twitter and Instagram and Letterboxd. Nathaniel G92 on Instagram. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Aish24. You can find me on Blue Sky now. I think I'm just at Aish. And I don't know if you need, I'm very new, so I don't know if you need like the dot. It's like dot blue sky dot social or something like that. I don't know if you need all that. But if you search Aish, I'm sure you could find me. I got the OG tag. So I'm very happy about that. But yeah, you can find me over there. I don't know if I'll be posting much anytime soon, but you know, whatever. And then you can find me on Letterboxd at Aish, and all that is AYYSH. I think that does it here. Everyone got their plugs in. I think we're good to go here. Another happy birthday shout out to Mr. Gingrich over there.
Cheers.
Happy 32.
Happy birthday, Ryan Foley as well. One of the big big
Happy
three
birthday,
listeners.
Foley.
Hey. Oh, and
Happy
I guess
birthday,
while we're
Foley,
doing
man.
birthday,
Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah.
We did record one episode between now and then, but Papa Schwartz also recently celebrated a birthday.
Happy
December,
Papa Schwartz.
Happy
so,
birthday.
I never gave him a proper
Papa
birthday
Schwartz.
shout
A lot of
out.
December
Rain of
birthdays
fire.
rolling around.
I know. Yeah,
Everyone gets busy in March.
I guess
That is
so.
true. That's actually factual evidence.
Yeah.
And that's how we end the pod. Goodbye, folks.
Hey, all right.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Yo, how good's water?
Recording.
Water's sick, dude.
Like when you just had like a
Water's
long
so good,
day
dude.
and like you like it's not even like you notice you're thirsty, but like you've just like worked and then you like sit down and you're like, oh damn, you know what? I really haven't had a drink in a little while.
I just
And you
needed
get
some
that
water.
get that glass of water and you're just like, oh man, this is the best thing on earth.
I
Yeah,
love
man.
water.
Yeah, the best was after sports or during sports. One of the two, like getting just, you know,
Oh,
super down, just coming back in and just, you know, chugging a bunch of water. During tennis, that was the best in between.
Nope.
in
If
between,
there
like,
were-
changeovers.
we got you, Blake.
If there were no limitations and like no side effects to drinking too much of one thing, and you could only drink one thing for the rest of your life, what would you drink?
I mean, water's up there. I feel like
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
but
water is up there, bro. I
we just
enjoy,
lost
just-
Blake.
I
We had
enjoy
him for
the
a
act
second.
of drinking water. Oh no, not again.
Yeah, hold on, we'll see.
Blake, you got us?
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yep, okay,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
good.
yeah. All right, cool.
Okay, for sure.
I had PTSD to that one time where like nothing was wrong and it just fixed itself on its own after 45
After 30
minutes.
yeah.
Shut
Yeah.
it down, shut it off. God damn it. It's the one thing.
Well, there's
all
that time.
taught.
That was fucking
There's that-
horrible.
There was that
And I
time.
was
with
like, have you just
Nathaniel.
tried turning your laptop off?
You tried turning it off and back on again?
I think it was the Roadcaster. We just
It
never reset
was,
the
yeah.
Roadcaster, and I was like, I thought that was step one.
Yeah.
It was just like a Nathaniel brain fart, and like do that as but
We're
then
dumb
but
sometimes.
then Blake a couple months ago had that when he
Yeah, with
switched
the
to his
mic.
work laptop after like 3 weeks. The third week, it had some problem. Anyway, back to your question, Ty. I mean, water really is up there. Water really is up there. If you're talking about like I don't have any effects from the beverage and I just like for the the flavor
yeah.
of it.
Let's just say it's taste. Like, are you picking, or like even like carbonated, not carbonated? Like, are
I
you
was gonna
picking
say-
one thing? What are you picking
Probably
to drink
coffee.
for the rest of your life?
Probably coffee.
You want coffee for the rest of your life?
Dude. Coffee is so good. It's so good.
Coffee
I mean,
slaps.
Do you get
If
like
I-
different
if I-
types of coffee, or is it just one?
I
Like,
do.
you get,
Yeah,
like,
that's the thing,
Folgers?
is, like,
no,
you
I'm
know,
talking about
you
like
got-
in the scenario.
No, it's like
Oh.
I'm talking like strictly just one thing.
so I've got to pick like a type of coffee.
Yeah, because otherwise you could just be like, okay, water, but I'm gonna flavor it whenever I want.
True.
Shut the fuck
I
up.
mean, I wasn't gonna cheat like that. I was just thinking like I can prepare coffee in different ways.
Well, if it's like, are you saying
one-
like it has zero health side effects, but you're
Yeah.
locked into that one thing?
Yeah.
I mean, Dr. Pepper's probably my favorite drink,
Dude. Yo, I was rolling over them in my head. Dr. Pepper's a great one. I was thinking like maybe just like a Capri Sun. Like just give me
just
some
want
juice.
the flavor of a Capri Sun,
What do
Yeah.
you know about Pacific Cooler, Nathaniel?
bro. I was dyed in Pacific Cooler before you were even born. I've been jamming Pacific Coolers down my neck since you were. You're just a twinkle in Papa Schwartz's eye.
You were forged in darkness. I was born in it.
You thought you were born in the pouch.
Molded
I
in the
grew up with the pouch. I didn't get a soda tab until I was a young man, and by that point it was already blinding.
Oh my god, that's too good.
Do you feel
about-
in charge?
What about
you
you?
feel
What about
in
you, Ty? What are you
charge?
picking?
I don't know, man. Milk's up there.
Okay, that's fair.
My girlfriend's a big milk drinker.
I've never been a milk. Never been a
Huge
milk person.
drinker.
I fucking love milk.
Yeah, Sarah loves milk, dude.
Shout out
I
Sarah, dude.
I don't get it.
Water over milk.
Milk goes fucking hard.
I mean,
dude.
I will like. You're not wrong. Like, I still enjoy drinking it every once in a while. Like, she'll pour a glass, and I'll be like, "Ah, give me a sip of that." Like, that does sound good right now. But like, it's never like I'm never going to the store and like looking for milk to drink. Like, just
me a
have my fridge, or like going to the fridge.
A glass of your finest aged milk, please.
It has to be
Well, you don't really
aged.
want aged
Yeah.
milk.
I mean, you do if you wanted
That
to.
sounds horrible.
Your finest sours, please.
I'd like a thing of yogurt. Is that just what milk is, basically?
your finest sours. That's fucked up.
Give me- I'm interested in your blue cheese. Just before it's become cheese.
Yeah, I don't know. Milk's up there for sure.
Blake, where do you land? How do you feel about water? Isn't water great?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like it's kind of the cliche answer here, but that probably would be my choice. I just consume a shit ton of water, though,
I do too.
I do too.
to be fair.
Yeah.
If it wasn't that, I mean, I can always go for a
mean,
good Arnold Palmer,
Monster
like
juice.
half lemonade, half
Not
sweet tea.
Not
I
a
can
bad answer.
always go for that.
Not
So
a
like
bad
that may
answer.
sneaky be my number 2.
That is a very good number 2.
You ever had an adult Arnold Palmer where it's 1 part lemonade, 1 part iced tea, 1 part vodka?
No, don't really care for vodka, but I think I could probably dabble in that.
You could probably mix in like a tequila instead or something.
Yeah.
probably.
The thing is, though, it just doesn't hit as good if it's not like the authentic lemonade, like not the Minute Maid out the can. You got to
you
get the
need-
fresh squeezed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Like a lemonade shake up, dude.
There you go.
What
From
is
like
that?
the fairs. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
dude.
sugar, concentrated lemonade,
Dude.
Throwing in a cup with some ice.
Fuck me up.
That sounds like how I used to make like Kool-Aid growing up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just all sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar and water.
Or did you guys ever have Nesquik? Speaking of milk, did you have the Nesquik
Yeah, for sure.
and
Okay,
you'd like lump it in there like two scoops, and you'd have to shake it stir it at the
Dude,
bottom.
that was like pre-workout before we knew it was pre-workout. Yeah.
That was about the
That was like
only
the
way
primer.
you could get me to consume milk was with a Nesquik mixer.
Dude, Nesquik was like my first pre-workout. It was like, dude, I'm ready to fuck my day up. Like, we're gonna go outside.
Woo! You come
Saturday
in, you're like,
morning cartoons. Get fucking Nesquik, baby.
you go to your teacher, you're like, my lips are tingling. It's all the Nesquik.
Are your ears itchy?
Yeah.
Because mine are going crazy right now.
Is anyone else sweating and they don't know why? Too hopped up on the quick.
Yeah, that's my max. That's my max right there.
Spent 30 seconds on the monkey bars today. Really upped my PR.
Fucking jacked.
He jumped from the swings at the top. He was on the queue.
Did they have swings in Arizona?
Yeah, yes we did. No tire swings because there's no yards, obviously, but
Right.
there was swings.
Right.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, we just hung him off the gallows
Yeah.
in the center of town.